Hello and welcome to another episode of 1000 Actually Fun Books, where we are looking at books in every genre, looking for the best escapist books. So today we're reviewing the book, The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon. This is an epistolatory book. It's actually journal entries, but it's kind of in the format of letters, so it kind of falls in that subgenre. It's written by Beth Brower, and I don't have a book to hold up because I read it digitally. It is one of Kindle Unlimited free books, so if you want it for free, I'm gonna link it down below. The genre is general fiction for the most part, a drama. It's a pretty short book. I read it in under 3 hours. It also has a touch of fantasy to it, not much, and it only comes up later in the book as basically a ghost. They mention it, and it's kind of like, is that real? Is that really there? And then later on in the story, like, the ghost talks. And then there's a little bit of other magic about things being rearranged, like magically things disappear and reappear somewhere else, that kind of thing. That's it. There might be something in later books, but for this one, that's all that there is. So the genre is mostly just general fiction. So things I like about this book. First, I will say I liked the humor. This is a pretty lighthearted in tone book. It's not a comedy, but it has humor sprinkled throughout, usually a dry humor, just kind of this sarcastic way of talking it's pretty amusing. And I'll give you an excerpt. So as a background to this excerpt, our Miss Lyon, our Emma, is our main character, and she has come to her home and kind of been banished to the attic room. Her relative who is in the house, who is managing the house, basically doesn't want to see her and doesn't really like her and sends her to the attic for now. And when she gets there, she discovers it has mice, and she's like, no, not mice. So she's kind of waging a war against the mice. So she starts by, moving all the furniture and sweeping and scrubbing every surface with lye, and then she paints all the surfaces. And then a little bit later, there's this excerpt. So this is her April 7th journal entry. The mice persist. I spend most of the afternoon stuffing whatever holes I could find with pieces of old silk morning robe that Cousin Archibald had discarded. Perhaps the fact that he once wore the garment will be enough to deter the rodents from entering. April 8th. The mice seem to have rallied against me. There were droppings on my desk when I awoke this morning. It was a deliberate taunt. So you can kind of see the tone there is amusing. It's lighthearted. She's not, this is not a grim, dark anything. So I liked that. I liked that a lot. Our world building, as I mentioned, there's a hint of magic. There's also the world building of figuring out what's going on in her particular house with the relationship between her and all the people. There's also the world building of the 1880s. So you have the historical setting that, again, except for the little hints of magic, is mostly realistic. And that comes across as pretty fun. So I do like the way the author does the setting. Our main character, she is a very likable main character, including being forgiving. She's got a good attitude towards hardships. She is persistent. She just embodies a lot of good traits. She's practical, but she has a great attitude about things. I really liked her. I would definitely want to spend more time and more books with her. The book does have a longer series. This is the first of 6, and it's, you could tell it'd be an interesting series going on. It makes you want to read more of this series. It is in a journal format, and I did like that. I really did. It was unique. There are definitely other books out there like that have either journals or letters or something like that, but it's not super common. and I did like the way it worked out. You have just a date and an entry, and it could be, like 2 paragraphs long, or it can be several pages long of whatever it is that's going on in her life. And you get hints of backstory as it further is revealed, because it's written, I think it's kind of amusing, in such that the author's note at the end is still from our main character's point of view, like, and this other person has published my journals, that kind of thing. It's just kind of amusing. Okay, things to dislike. There's not a lot, but it is there. 1, this is a short book, and it doesn't have a super satisfying ending. It feels like one of a longer set. And most of the big plot points are not resolved. We don't find out what's going to happen with her financial state. We don't find out what's happened with, there's a new tenant that comes that looks like he's going to be a big part of future books, but you don't know anything about him. It just kind of feels, it doesn't feel like this really satisfying conclusion. Instead, it feels like to be continued. And so I don't love that in a story. I really want a self-contained story. Although I like this book enough to want to read the next one, so it's not a big deal. But it is there. Okay, another thing I dislike, there's a lot of injustice in this book. For example, to try and do one of the smaller things to not give it away, so I've already mentioned that Emma has been banished to the attic. Well, this is actually her home. She has been willed it. She's going to be the owner of this house as soon as she turns 21 in a couple months, according to this book. And, but the caretaker banishes her to the attic, and she just has to put up with it. Her former room has been given to a servant. Things like that. The fact that she finds a book, and she loves books. This is something that I do like about it. I'll get back to that in a second. But the cousin Archibald, who had banished her to the attic, finds out she has a book and takes it from her. It's like, this is mine, you can't touch it, before she gets to the end of the book. And so she doesn't have it anymore. And there's kind of this pervasive feeling of injustice in a lot of areas of this book. And it's not a comfortable feeling as a reader, just knowing these things are happening to this person, this character, and there's nothing you as a reader can do about it, nothing she as a character can do about it. She doesn't have any recourse to get justice for multitude of sins, and that can be really uncomfortable reading. So I didn't like that aspect. I do think, however, having said that this first book of the series, not having read the rest of the series, this first book is probably the worst, because it's really the setup, that the rest of the books are overcoming this. So I suspect that me not liking this would not impact the rest of the series. So there is that. Getting back to the books. So our main character loves books, and she really wants to acquire a library. And so at the end of this book, she has 2 books in her possession, and an empty bookshelf, like floor-to-ceiling bookshelf. And so she has put her 2 books on there, and it lists the books she owns at the very end. So I suspect in book 2, she will acquire a couple more, and so it'll have a longer list of books she owns. And I just thought that was cute. I really liked that. It's kind of like satisfies my desire to collect. I'm like, ooh, look at this collection that's starting to be built. So I like that. Okay. The last thing would be it's short. I guess I didn't love how short it was. I kind of was like, wow, that was really quick to read in under 3 hours. If you want a short book, this is great. If you don't like short books, this might be a little irritating. You'd be like, it was so quick, you blinked and missed it. But anyway, overall, I give this 2 thumbs up. I really liked this book. It was really fun. I really think I would love the rest of the series too. So this is a great book for somebody who likes just kind of somebody making funny commentary about life as they go along, and then with just a little hint of supernatural. And so yes, I liked it. I recommend it. I want to read the rest of the series. So that's about it for this review. I would say thank you for watching, and please join me next week.